our live streaming this evening. I'll also like to thank Shanley Robertson, and she's usually out in the hall when I do this, and Jennifer Ravens, who are the people responsible for this lovely evening, the decor and the drawing, and then many of us have worked together to present this program to honor our graduates and those who will be receiving excellence awards this evening. I'd also like to thank Sarah Carter, our clinical director, used to be our clinical director and now our assessment specialist. She and Shenley have been working very hard for several months, along with Jennifer, to produce this student conference that we've been having all week. Students who've been here, what do you think? How's it been? Come on, every class that I've kind of slipped in and listened in the background has, we've had amazing faculty teaching this week and lots of laughter, even in the IV skills class, and I even got poked today. So we thank Sarah and Shenley and Jen for all the efforts in putting on this student conference this week. We have the honor of beginning this evening's gala with a musical prayer called Honoring Life, and it will be sung by Sonia Ochoa and Yoconda Vaca. We have the words. Oh, you know what, Sonia? I have the wrong slideshow, so I don't have the words. Put them on a different one. Sorry. Sonia had sent me the words, and I put them on a slideshow, but it's a different one than the one I pulled up. So.
Can you pull the one right?
Not without a lot of effort, but we'll read them. How about that? Can we read the right words? Okay. So go ahead.
Can I read them?
Uh-huh. Do you have it?
Okay. Just give me 1 second.
That's what I get for saving my PowerPoint on 2 different computers and forgetting which one was my most recent save. Welcome, Amy. Come in. Amy and family. This is a musical prayer, so just take a moment of silence. Think about what you are so grateful for. This is an Argentine song, right, Yoconda? So this is why we need a bit of a translation. No. Staying and passing, it is not enduring, it is not existing or honoring life. There are so many ways of not being, so much conscience without knowing, asleep. Deserving life is not being silent and consenting. So many injustices repeated. It's a virtue, it's a dignity. It is the attitude of identity better defined. Lasting and passing gives us no right to boast. Because living, it's not the same as honoring life. No, staying and passing does not always want to suggest honoring life. There are many little vanities in our foolish humanity, blinded. Deserving life is to stand upright beyond the evil of the falls. It's the same as giving truth and giving our own freedom a welcome. That of lasting and passing gives us no right to boast. Because living is not the same as honoring life.
Permanecer y transcurrir no es perdurar, no es existir, honrar la vida. Hay tantas maneras de no ser, tanta conciencia sin saber, adormecida. Merecer la vida no es callar y consentir tantas injusticias repetidas. Es una virtud, es dignidad, y es la actitud de identidad más definida. Eso de durar y transcurrir no nos da derecho a presumir, porque no es lo mismo que vivir, honrar la vida. No. Permanecer y transcurrir no siempre quiere sugerir honrar la vida. Hay tanta pequeña vanidad en nuestra tonta humanidad ensayecida. Merecer la vida es erguirse vertical, más allá del mar, de las caídas. Es igual que darle a la verdad y a nuestra propia libertad la bienvenida. Eso de durar y transcurrir no nos da derecho a presumir, porque no es lo mismo que vivir, honrar la vida. Eso de durar y transcurrir no nos da derecho a presumir, porque no es lo mismo que vivir, honrar la vida.
Thank you. What a beautiful tribute and prayer. Maria, would you mind just closing those blinds that are probably going to start blinding everyone with the sun? Maybe that side one and the two back ones. Thank you. Our theme this evening is transformation, thus the butterflies. And though the beauty may be in the butterfly that you see, the struggle and the growth occur in the cocoon. You might ask, how does one become a butterfly? Well, you must want to fly so much that you are willing to give up being a caterpillar. And as I look at Jennifer and Amy and Tiffany, I know of their personal struggles to become the midwives that they have become. And to our other graduates who we are honoring today, they have truly struggled and strived to become midwives. Most of us that work for the school are sitting here nodding our heads. We know of your sacrifice. We know of your struggle. And you have transformed, and you have become, and you will continue to become. Two of our graduates who have struggled to reach the goal of becoming a midwife will address us this evening. First, we will have the honor of hearing from Tiffany Hoffman, who graduated in 2016 with her Associate of Science in Midwifery, and she is in Washington. And her husband is here with her tonight, so we welcome them on their long trip down to Utah. And then we will have the privilege of hearing from Jennifer Bertinelli, who graduated with her associate a few years ago and then returned and very quickly completed her Bachelor of Science in Midwifery in 2016. And Jennifer lives in Utah. Tiffany?
I didn't realize this transformation thing was going to be such a huge focus because I sort of changed my word, but true to midwifery, right? If we don't like a word, we find a new one and change, look for something that resonates with us. So when I was asked to speak on this, I'm like, well, my transformation, I wouldn't have described myself as a butterfly. I would have more focused on the little extra adipose ring around my middle, my extremely tired adrenal glands, and a lot more gray hair. That could just be because I started this right before I was 40. I don't know. So for me, I didn't feel transformed, so to speak, but through this journey and being here tonight, I realized that is truly what happened. But a word that I would like to present for my transformation is more to transcend. For the definition for transcend is to be greater in scope, greater than some standard. The Merriam-Webster defines it as to rise above or go beyond. To go beyond the limits that you've ever gone before. And as Christy was saying, I think anyone that's gone through this program realized that you get pushed to all of your limits. And hopefully you get to a place where you're triumphing over any negative or restrictive things that you've experienced. And some synonyms to that word are exceed, surpass, to become superior, go past, to distinguish oneself. This to me is the epiphany of what happened through my journey for midwifery. It's not necessarily an end destination. One thing that might help reframe that word for everyone is, I'm sure everyone's made a lot of connections or parallels to pregnancy and labor and birth. And as we know, in labor, the transition that happens, but in midwifery, I believe we go through many transitions. And unlike labor, it's not the shortest and the fastest phase. Our transitions are a lot more drawn out, or so it seems. So our labors are things such as practice guidelines, client handouts, research papers. For some people going on and doing their master's thesis and research projects. Those are the things that I feel like we get really mired and caught up in during school. And so that's where transcend really hit me, because we need to be happy in those moments. And that is where MCU and our education is helping us transcend or transform to what we need to become and helping us build that foundation. So there's not this sense of, I'll be happy when the semester's over, or when I'm not in this class anymore, or when I don't have to deal with a certain instructor. Maybe it's not your favorite person and you're butting heads, because obviously midwives are pretty strong-headed individuals. So some things during school feel like a struggle. And Robin Sharma states, what you resist will persist. What you befriend, you will transcend. And if you really stop and think about that, there are a lot of moments in midwifery school where we are resisting. We're resisting those opportunities for growth. And that means it will stick around and be your friend until you learn to overcome. One of my favorite authors, and there were many a day, he has like from A to Z, Deepak Chopra, or I'm probably not saying his last name right. He has mantras that you can listen to. And so he talks a lot about transcending where we are at. And he has 4 steps that can help us with that process. The first step is by simply going inward and transcending the constant activity of the mind. One experience is a deeper of awareness called the zone of peace. And when you think about that, going inward, we help our clients and our moms and families do that all the time. But are we practicing what we preach? Second is return to that peace at will. That would be really awesome if you could master that skill. It's something that is a constant process, but at any moment when you need that peace and you're not feeling it, you're feeling the stress and the obstacles that are in the way and the resistance and the ego. Our ego gets in the way a lot, and negative emotions. So returning to that peace can clear your slate and help you step outside of that. Third is letting go of all aspects of violence. He says letting go of all aspects of violence is critical because you cannot fight against non-peace in order to have peace. The result of such a struggle will only be that your adversary, such as anger, resentment, or envy, goes deeper underground. Letting go happens when you shift your allegiance away from the ego, with its built-in insecurity and negative emotions, to the true self. Last, expand the experience of peace every day. The 4th challenge allows peace to grow within yourself and therefore with people that you work with. It's the same saying that you make choices every day to follow that silent voice of the true self instead of the loud voices all around and inside you. Silence can coexist with the thinking mind. Peace doesn't make you passive and dull. In fact, the very opposite is true. Once you stop wasting excessive psychological energy on anger, resentment, insecurity, and the other baggage of the ego, more energy is left over for love, inner growth, and creativity. So it's my hope that we can all find peace as we transcend where our current space is at this time. Soak in the very essence of who we are. Everything our education provides, the situations, the discussions, the crucial conversations, we all have a direct purpose towards our education and that provider that we will become. We are here to gain a higher level of knowledge, acceptance, and ability to become something greater than we currently are. We should take each opportunity for growth with more grace and ease. This way of thinking can bring us to the next level of greatness and potential that lies in all of us. This journey is not always easy, but layer upon layer of experiences helps us to transcend into a midwife. Even after you finish this semester, pass the NARM, graduate, or maybe have been practicing midwifery for several years, or you're coming back for that next degree, I don't think we're ever done. You have never really arrived at an end point. It's just a building block. Midwifery is often called a calling. Each client we meet, the situation we face with our peers, our communities, preceptors, whatever the people you come in contact with, you will transcend where you are today at this moment. I'm grateful for my education here at MCU. It has forever changed who I am. MCU has given me a strong foundation towards becoming a midwife of excellence. It continues to inspire me to be greater, and I know there will be many more opportunities to learn and grow. and as we assist our families to transcend the birth process and through birth, that carries on for generations, and that our footprint becomes very large when you get to see the effects and the ripples of what it means to become a midwife. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Tiffany. I appreciate your thoughts on that, and I know that you've spent a lot of time thinking about this theme that they told us to focus on, and I really appreciate your take on that. That's neat. I had some technical difficulties like Christy did. I had a talk that I've been working on, and this past week emailed it to my work email address so that I could work on it while I was on break and had some time during the week, and I polished it up yesterday and emailed it back to my email address. That's my home address, and dutifully, like any good employee would do, erased it from the computer at work, only to get home and find out that Outlook had deemed it as unsafe and had not attached it to my email. So I did what I did a lot in school when faced with a situation where I had to get something completed in a short amount of time. I got on Facebook because that's productive. And I thought to myself, you know what, that wasn't the talk I was supposed to give. And I don't know why, it just wasn't the talk I was supposed to give. But one of the first things that I came across on Facebook was this story, and it just really spoke to me, and so I wanted to share this with you. My friend Padma entered, this is by a gal named Becky Douglas. These are not my words. My friend Padma entered a home in a village for lepers in southern India. It was poorly lit, but Padma could make out a shape in the corner covered by a cloth. Intrigued, Padma looked closer and noticed that there were feet visible under the cloth. Could this be a hunched woman covered in a threadbare sari, as if someone had thrown a blanket over her like an old piece of furniture? Padma spoke gently to her. There was no response. She tried again without any more success, except that the protruding feet disappeared under the cloth. At this point, a man entered the room from the outside. He seemed surprised to see Padma in his cramped little room. "What are you doing here?" he asked suspiciously. Padma told him that she had come to speak with his wife. Clearly irritated, he grumbled, "Don't waste my time. She's mental. She can't answer you." He clearly saw Padma as an intruder. Reluctantly, Padma turned away. Padma had come to this village because she had high hopes of being able to encourage its members to stop begging and begin small businesses by pooling their savings and then providing each other with small loans one by one. She met with a few women who had been interested, but Padma wanted to involve every woman, so she began going door to door. The homes in this area were more like apartments. They had been built of cement by the government. The only difference is that these apartments had only one room. All four walls, floor, and ceiling were formed by cement. There were no bathrooms, kitchens, or bedrooms. Cooking was done outside, over an open fire. Bathrooms were wherever you could find a private spot. The residents of the village either slept outside or on a mat in their one room, often shoulder to shoulder. These rooms, about 6 feet square, generally were not burdened by furniture, with an occasional exception of a bed. The corners of the room held plastic or tin pots to collect water, a tin pan or two to cook food, and perhaps a couple of tin plates for eating. Some of the homes had a rope strung overhead to dry the ragged clothes owned by the family. Other than that, the homes were barren. When Padma left the village, she was haunted by the image of a woman hunched down in the corner of a dark room with a piece of material thrown over her. She tried to think of a way that she could get a response from the woman and perhaps break through the silence. A week later, Padma was back in the village to help the women with their new businesses. When she finished with the women's self-help group that she had started the week before, Padma made her way to the home with the woman wasting away in the corner. The husband glanced up as Padma entered. He was not pleased to see her there. She quickly spoke up and said, "I have a gift for your wife." She pulled a baby turkey out of the large bag that she had brought with her. The husband laughed and said, "She can't have it. I told you she is mental." Refusing to be deterred, Padma set the turkey on the floor in front of the hidden wife. She gave the turkey a little nudge towards the woman. The man glowered at Padma, but the baby turkey had walked up to the woman and began pecking at her covering. Both Padma and the husband were surprised to see the figure in the corner lift up the edge of the covering, push the turkey away, and then pull the cover back down. "See, I told you so," the man said triumphantly. "She can't have your gift because she is mental." But even as he said this, the baby turkey had walked back to the shape in the corner and began pecking at the sari. This time the woman lifted up the covering, reached out, grabbed the baby turkey and brought it to her bosom, and then immediately closed the covering back to the ground. This time it was Padma who smiled. Content with this little bit of progress, Padma left the home. The next time Padma came to the village, an amazing sight awaited her. When Padma entered the woman's home, she was amazed to see the woman sitting in the corner with her head uncovered, playing with the baby turkey. She had bonded with the little bird and had lovingly took over responsibility of its care. Padma was so excited with this progress that the next week when she came to the village, she brought the woman 10 baby turkeys to raise as the beginnings of a small business. Becky goes on to say that, she says, "I later had the opportunity of visiting this woman. What a transformation had taken place. When Padma and I approached the village, we saw this woman confidently stride by, followed by a gaggle of turkeys. She looked like the Pied Piper of turkeys. Padma called out to her, 'Madam, what are you doing?' She responded cheerfully, 'I am walking my turkeys. I walk them for 45 minutes every morning and every night,' she confided. 'They are like my children.' As I met with her, I was struck by how confident she sounded. Her turkey business had been a phenomenal success. In fact, the month previously, she had been voted in as a leader in her village. What a contrast from the person that she had once been. It turns out that she was not mental at all. She had been so she had been so terribly depressed that she had just pulled the hood over her head and waited in the corner to die. Now I can't see my paper. Oh, I even brought my handkerchief up. Thank you. Now she was a happy, confident woman. Padma had told me that the woman now had several $100s in the bank. The woman who so recently had resigned herself to die was now the wealthiest woman in the village. Friends, preceptors, instructors, brothers and sisters, and my sweet daughters, I stand before you today as the wealthiest woman in the village. I don't speak of material wealth, but of the wealth of empowerment that graduating from MCU has given me. In the course of my life, I have had 3 or 4 pretty big setbacks. Though even in my darkest days, I was infinitely better off than the woman in this story. I had soul-crushing days, but for the sake of my daughters, I would have just pulled the covers over my head and willed myself to die. It was at one of these times in my life that I was blessed to attend a doula training held by Christy Ridyoung. Now, anyone who's taken a class from Christy knows that she has a special gift to provide a safe place of healing and transformation for her students. It was then that I began to understand how to utilize education as a chrysalis for change and empowerment in my own life. From that time of training in 2001, I have returned over and over and over again to clothe myself in the chrysalis of education that MCU offers to its students. When I received my first degree here nearly 2 years ago, I stared for the longest time at my name above the words associate's degree. And 2 thoughts immediately came to my head. First, I was no longer a scared, stuck, unempowered single mother with few options. I had a degree, and nobody could take that from me. And secondly, that this degree was not a destination, but it was a stepping stone to who I was to become, as Tiffany mentioned, a building block. I now stand before you a certified professional midwife and licensed direct entry midwife in the state of Utah. I have a full-time job that provides for me and my family. I'm currently enrolled in a master's program that will take me to a place where I hope that I can take what I have learned and in turn empower others. To my 6 daughters, who are all present with me here tonight, you have suffered along with me. You have buoyed me up and inspired me to keep bettering myself. Thank you for your patience with me as I've struggled to better our lives. The grace and forgiveness that you have given me as I fell short so often and in so many ways is so humbling. I love each of you with all that I have. To my fellow MCU students, I know this journey can be so difficult. So often, my 2 youngest daughters fell asleep to the soft light of my computer screen in our shared bedroom as I toiled away in the wee hours of the night to complete my homework. I do not claim to know what your struggles are, and they are likely different than mine, but I know that you have them. I do not claim to know what your strengths are, but I know you have them as well. I challenge you to see education as a chrysalis for change and empowerment in your own lives, and to, in turn, empower others. Thank you.
Whatever that other talk was, apparently that was the talk that was meant to be given. We will now be privileged to hear from Jody Palmer, who will probably also make us cry. She is the former president of MCU, and when she had Maggie, her firstborn, I then became the president. That's been how many years ago? How old's Maggie? That's how we measure it. Almost 11. I thought it was 10. Almost 11 years ago, Jody turned the reins of MCU, being MCU president, over to me, but she has stayed with us all these years in one capacity or another. She is currently the vice president of the MCU board of directors, and she is also a house mother, and she will be a faculty member this fall, or this summer semester. So Jody Palmer, the vice president of MCU, will now address us. She cannot be behind this thing.
I forget to remind Christy that every single year. I do not consider myself an optimist, and nor am I a pessimist, but I consider myself a realist, which means that I like to look at what is. I like to look at the world as how it is. Now, I believe the world is, as Glennon Doyle describes, brutiful, which means that it's brutal and it's beautiful all at the same time. So the theme for our 2017 graduation is transformations, as you know. And I can't help but talk about transformations from my realist soul. I've worked with hundreds of students over the years who are so looking forward to the transformation from student to midwife. So that arrival of that place where things are easier, where there's less chaos in their life, it's better, it's without shadow. And yet what they find is a myriad of old challenges wearing the same clothing. And the philosopher Alan Watts has a beautiful little piece called Why Life is Not a Journey. And he says, where he describes the Western way of seeing life as a cumulative of arrivals. And when I can drive a car, or when I graduate from college, or when I meet that quota, or when I finally retire, and then we finally arrive at that place and we discover that the world and ourselves are pretty much the same as we've always been. But rather, he suggests that life is a dance. It's like a dance or a piece of music. And there is no arriving. The objective is not the end. The purpose of the dance is the dance itself. The purpose of the music is the music itself, which is a beautiful sentiment and I feel is so inspiring. And my realist soul bubbles up. And from that realist place, I want to read a poem to you. And I'm going to take the liberty of editing just a little bit of the language here. This poem is called Good Bones by Maggie Smith. Life is short, though I keep this from my children. The world is at least 50% terrible, though I keep this from my children. For every bird, there's a stone thrown at a bird. For every loved child, a child broken, bagged, and sunk in a lake. Life is short, and the world is at least half terrible. And for every kind stranger, there is one who would break you, though I keep this from my children. I am trying to sell them the world. Any decent realtor walking you through a real crap hole chirps on about good bones. This place could be beautiful, right? You could make this place beautiful. My message to you is that a transformation is not an arrival. It's an awakening of what is. And as midwives, what we learn is that we can take this and make it beautiful. Is that we can awaken to the fact that even though you enter in a toxic community, or you are practicing all on your own, or there are no clients to be spoken of, or you're a whole freaking semester behind in your studies. Whatever it is, the transformation that happens in our souls is that we awaken to the fact that we can make this beautiful. That is the message that I want to leave for you. That as you go into the world, no matter what you come across, it all has good bones. It all has good bones. And you can make this place beautiful.
Thank you, Jody. We have the opportunity now to support our scholarship fund, the Brianna Blackwelder Equal Access Scholarship and the Social Justice and Health Equity Scholarship. And those donations that you've perhaps been making for the last couple of weeks with all the great gifts that we have out there, all of those donations go toward our scholarship fund. And we have recipients of our scholarship who are practicing in their communities as they prepare to become midwives. They're currently practicing as student midwives and making an amazing difference. And so we love the opportunity of being able to honor these women with the scholarship. And I believe Jennifer and Shenli are you ready for the drawing? And while they're doing the drawing, if you would just go out and help yourself to some more food, they're going to take the food away in about 10 minutes. So grab some food while they're doing the drawing. And if you win and you're out there,
You'll hear us.
you'll hear.
Someone will yell for you.
So as Christy mentioned, the scholarship, Christy discussed the scholarship fund and how this works and what we're doing. The board of directors actually worked very hard, and every one of them reached out to find something that we thought you all would love to have, in your offices or in your practice or in your homes. So Martina Craner is on the board of directors for MCU, and she actually probably negotiated pretty good for us. And her husband, who is a professional graphic designer, to put together a logo package. And so we're actually super excited because this is not something most of us could manage at this point in our lives and careers. Janet Creamy.
Oh, Janet, she's not here, but
Oh,
I think
she's
she's
watching.
online.
Janet.
Say it a little louder.
Janet Akrimi, congratulations. And obviously we're sending this out, so we will get this to you via mail or email. So I don't know if anyone went out and actually looked if you did it online, but Rebecca Porter actually brought from Haiti the two carved statues out front. And they're, someone said mom and baby, and I looked at them the first time and said, oh, a midwife and a baby. That's my priority. All right, let's see. We have Tiffany Hoffman.
Did you know that, Tiffany? You were acting like you had a feeling.
Oh, I ripped it all up.
So Valerie Hall is actually the president of the board of directors. She actually managed to get two things. One is this belly binding basket out front. If you guys took a look, but it's got a complete belly binding kit, a basket in there. There's something else, and a rebozo.
And our rebozo was donated by Angela Leon.
Oh, that's right. Thank you, Angela. I forgot. I'm going to say this wrong. Larissa Horan. Larissa, congratulations. So anyone that's here last year saw this one already. We did it again. It was so popular. Melanie Lennon actually has donated 2 years in a row a 2-night stay at Skyline Ranch. And I don't know if you guys saw it online. It is beautiful, and a really neat opportunity to take a few days away, as long as you can get someone to be on call for you. Angela Leon.
Montana.
Oh, Montana, you're right.
So Miss Jody Palmer, who's here tonight, donated and had framed that beautiful print that's sitting outside that I think a few of us would like to see at home. And if not, you can go online. It'll show you the link of where to buy it. Oh, cool. David Carter Plate. Congratulations, David. We'll get that shipped out to you.
Yeah, very cool.
Oh, there was no David for class, huh?
Angela wants her card for that cabin.
I can wait.
So I thought Melanie had a great idea with the hotel stay. So I called my mom. There's an event planner. I said, so Mom, the Marriott in Redondo Beach, what can you do for me? And so they actually agreed, and we donated a 2-night stay at the Marriott Redondo Beach. If you drive out there, it includes parking. It's an amazing hotel. We have a convention there every year, so they'll take good care of you. Shalice.
All right. Woo. Can you get from Canada to California, Shalice?
You just drive down, right? Oh, this was neat. Christy Young actually made this one happen. This is a really cool program. What's the company name? The doula website. Website doula. She's really neat. All these different website. She's a doula for website. That's exactly. It's a great name for her. And so she actually got her to donate and bring in a SEO package. And anyone knows SEO, or at least knows of SEO, knows they probably need more. So that's exciting. Angela.
What?
No way.
So you want stop listening. The SEO package for your website. And then our board president, Valerie, actually also donated the board photo again, which apparently people are excited about. Krista Miracle. As someone who's on the back end who gets to see this process happen, I just want to say thank you. The Brianna Scholarship programs are incredible. They're doing great things. They're really touching people that we wouldn't necessarily get a chance to. So for your time and donations, I thank you.
And thank you to all of our board members who worked so tirelessly to gather those donations. For those of you that are here, would you just stand up so everyone can see who our board members are? Amy.
Yes.
Amy Jones, Jennifer Ravens, Martina Craner, and Jody Palmer. Anybody else here tonight from our board? The rest don't live in Utah, so thank you.
Valerie Hall is virtually here.
Oh, Valerie Hall is virtually online. Thank you, Val. We will now be favored with another musical number from the family that you got to hear as you came in tonight. I hope maybe they'll play for us as we leave also. They were so incredible. The Richards family with Betsy Richards, our student midwife.
I'd like to dedicate the song actually to all of the people who have donated to the Brianna Project, to all of the heroes in our lives, to all of the women who give themselves to love. This is called Give Yourself to Love by Kate Wolf. Kind friends all gather around. There's something I would say. What brings us together here has blessed us all today. Love has made a circle that holds us all inside. We're strangers or as family. Loneliness can't hide. You must give yourself to love. Love is what you're after. Open up your hearts to the tears and laughter. And give yourself to love. Give yourself to love. I've walked these mountains in the rain and learned to love the wind. I've been up before the sunrise to watch the day begin. I always knew I'd find you, though I never did know how. Like sunshine on a cloudy day, you stand before me now. So give yourself to love. Love is what you're after. Open up your hearts to the tears and laughter. Give yourself to love. Give yourself to love. is born in fire. It's planted like a seed. Love can't give you anything, but it gives you what you need. Love comes when you're ready. Love comes when you're afraid. It will be your greatest teacher, the best friend you have made. You must give yourself to love. If love is what you're after, open up your heart to the tears and laughter. Give yourself to love. Give yourself to love. Give yourself to love. If love is what you're after, open up your heart to the tears and laughter. Give yourself to love. Give yourself to love.
So we've had a request, Betsy. Do you have an album?
No, we don't. Well, we're working on one.
All right. So as soon as that album's out, she'll let us know and we'll post it. Beautiful, beautiful message. Thank you. And thank you, all of you brothers and mom and dad. We now have the opportunity to honor our graduates for 2016. And we have many graduates who aren't able to be here with us this evening, so we're going to honor them online. And we'll give Kaylee just a sec to get hers ready. Kaylee, you might want to mute the sound on that one so that we don't have interference of sound. Mariah, let's turn the lights down so everyone can see these faces nice and clear. Joanne Bird, CPM, LDM in Oregon. Karen Peacock, CPM and LM in Washington. Lori Ann Jones, CPM, LM in Idaho. Rachel Maxim, CPM, LM in California. Tiffany Hoffman, CPM, LM in Washington. Those were our associate degree midwives, and now the Bachelor of Science in Midwifery degree midwives. Elaine Arnold, CPM and LM in Washington. We so miss our Washington contingent. They used to come to every conference. Holly Moyer, CPM in Washington. Jennifer Bertinelli, CPM, LDEM in Utah. Jennifer Brakeman, CPM, LM in Idaho. I think she's up by you guys. Lois Lewis, CPM in Oklahoma. Megan Nolan, CPM in Ohio. Melissa Carmen, CPM and LM in Vermont. Tracy Canillo, CPM in Georgia. There's this polite little clapping going on. A Master of Science in Midwifery. Nikki Hope, CPM LM in Virginia. And Paula Hostler, CPM in Pennsylvania. I'm going to tell you a little story about this slide in a moment. This is a sister circle from Washington. And I wanted to share with you what they said about this picture. Or if you want to just go ahead and switch to the other one, I'll share that with my address. We're going to do something a little bit different this year and ask our graduates to come and sit up at the front so that you can all remember who they are this evening. And so Tiffany, Jennifer, and Amy. Our board member, one of our board members, Martina Craner, will present you with your graduate cords. I know those stools are kind of high for you. Sorry. I guess Jen wants a lot of light for these pictures. We will have a few more slides, Jen, so maybe if you want to just turn those down so that the side lights are on, that would be great. Thank you. So can I talk to you while you sit there on those high stools? You have all probably heard the greeting Namaste, probably in yoga class. A Sanskrit greeting which is often translated as the divine in me sees the divine in you. Tonight I want to talk to these three women and all of our graduates who might be listening online or who might hear this recording about the transformation that takes place when the divine in me sees the divine in you. Brianna Blackwelder, an MCU graduate and midwife here in Utah, in fact her cozy, welcoming office used to be in our office and now Heather Whitley is in that space, understood the spirit of Namaste. If you knew her, you know this about Brianna. And she understood the transformation that can occur with a vision to go beyond her immediate circle and change maternal health practices. Unfortunately, as many of you know, Brianna left this world on a Saturday 6 years ago, just before her 29th birthday. But her vision lives on because a group of women became her physical hands, her instruments of service. Kathy Larson, Brianna's midwifery partner, who is also an MCU graduate, and beloved conference instructor Rachel Swan, and Vanessa Kerr and Sarah Grains, who many of you saw today, a student, started the Brianna Project, which is a mobile outreach program providing free postpartum care, education, and advocacy for underserved women in Salt Lake City. They provide monthly in-home visits and mobile prenatal and postpartum visits and community classes in Salt Lake City. They provide meals, basic household, personal, and clothing items, and access to a supportive community. Got to find my right slide here. There we go. There is some sense in that. Bring it, Rob. So this is the Brianna Project logo that you may have seen as we are getting involved here at MCU in this service project. The point I want to make with this is that these graduates, these students of MCU, and the ripple effect that Brianna Blackwelder had in her life, and as she continues to have this transformative effect, it has made a difference for women in Salt Lake.
And I want to tell you a little story about something that happened with this project. But first, I want to invite you to get involved with the Brianna Project tonight. You may have noticed our Bring a Bra basket. Is it up here, Jen? All right, great. Let's have it as we go out the door, because you'll see why we need this Bring a Bra basket up here. So you'll notice that when you leave tonight. And you too, tonight, can be part of the Brianna Project. During the first event that the Brianna Project did in Salt Lake this year, they went to a park nearby where many of our homeless population hang out during the day and have a place to socialize. And as they took to the streets of Salt Lake City, they delivered, I don't remember, 500 hygiene kits, 250 hygiene kits, and a lot of the women were coming up to them saying, "Do you have bras? Do you have a bra?" And of course, if you don't have a good, clean, supportive bra, a bra is a big deal. And so the Brianna Project has committed to having the best bra bar in Salt Lake City at the end of May. And we are going to help with that. So you've heard about this if you're an MCU student. You've heard about it from our wonderful marketing coordinator all the last couple of weeks. So hopefully you've brought your bra tonight that you're going to donate to the basket. Or you can mail your bra. If you didn't hear about this before now, go home, clean out your drawers, and mail your bra. And if you can't do either of those, just take off your bra when you leave tonight and put it in the basket, because I'm sure you have others at home. I wanted to tell you a story about transformation that occurred for, this was actually written by Vanessa Kerr, another great resource on Facebook, Jen. And as I read the words of Vanessa, I thought, I really want to share this with our graduates. So Vanessa says, "I met these two holding up their sign, pregnant, homeless, and need help. I couldn't believe my eyes." She was in Utah County, and she was thinking, maybe there aren't homeless people in Utah County. So she jumped out of her van with a torn piece of paper with a phone number telling them, "I am part of a small organization that helps pregnant ladies. This couple said they needed a place to stay for the night. I told them to call this number. Since then, they have been a daily part of my life." With texts all day about how she is feeling, what is normal during this part of her pregnancy, texts about trying to find a place to live, texts about life, texts about what time we are meeting for appointments, etc. She just had her baby. I think about 2 weeks ago now. And as Vanessa goes on to say, "I got to see this mama basking in the power giving birth to this healthy, cute baby. The peace a newborn baby gives is medicine. Medicine for turning your life around for the better. I have been so worried about where they were going to live after she had the baby. Their names are on 5 different waiting lists, hoping they get chosen. My stress level has been skyrocket high, trying to find this family find a sober place to live. I have cursed a ton, cried, sobbed, screamed, and wondered how it is possible that my lot in life put me in such a better place. Then today I have sobbed tears of joy and pure amazement. The good people of this world, you, have come together to show that as a community we can love and support our fellow human brothers and sisters, and together we can provide for their needs. There have been generous donations for this project, for the Brianna Project, so that this family has a place to live, a place to heal for the next 30 days. This all occurred because I happened to randomly stop at a store to grab a few items. I stopped to talk to them. I heard their story. They heard mine. Now we are connected." I dare say that as Vanessa and the Brianna Project reached out for the help, that the community responded because on some level, no matter how different our circumstances, our human stories connect. They may connect in loss. We may be fused in places where we have been shot through, in the heart, or maybe even physically, in the spirit. We often bond at our broken edges. I believe that all stories connect if you follow them far enough and long enough. We're living in tumultuous times in our history. Some of our world systems appear to be crumbling and are perhaps more dysfunctional than ever.
Not only do we need midwives like you, we need leaders like you. Now more than ever, feminine values are needed in our world. Values such as cooperation, collaboration, listening, process, empathy, crucial conversations, courageous conversations, emotional intelligence, and intuition. Sounds like a midwife to me. There might be times when you find yourself holding back. It's hard to go to that place where you're really connecting to someone's torn edges, where you're connecting to someone deep enough and long enough. It can be vulnerable. It can be intimidating. It can be a huge commitment. But just as we know how to follow a woman into labor, I believe that you as midwifery leaders have the courage and know how to follow someone's story deep enough and far enough. I think that it's important to think about what needs to change inside of you as you ask yourself, what kind of impact can I have as a midwifery leader? And when you find that inner foundation of strength and healing and change, and when you have done that work, as I know all three of you have done because I've watched the transformation, you will find yourself manifesting to extraordinary heights as a leader. And some of the things that we'll see when these women become leaders and these men become leaders, you will have the ability to take emotional risks, being open and radically honest. You will own your physical presence and be juicy in your confidence and power. You will be okay with the pleasure of the body and your physical presence. You'll be comfortable in your physical presence. You will own the capacity to welcome good things in your life. As the midwifery leader, you will have the inner safety necessary to truly innovate and not be intimidated by those new ideas and that innovation. You'll embrace your imperfections without self-recrimination. It's okay to not always be perfect. You will easily make decisions from a place of inner alignment. And you will have the ability to confidently set boundaries for yourself and for others. And you will cease caretaking and over-functioning for others, creating a space for yourself to flourish at your highest level and a space for others to own their own journey. In closing, I want to share the words of Bethany Webster, who writes a blog, and I love the title. It's Time to Heal the Mother Wound for You, your business, and the world. We need every single one of you students in this room, every single graduate, to be leaders who have walked through your own inner fire, who blaze with the light of your own inner realization, who bring original knowledge that you have gained through walking to your inner depths. We need more leaders who bring us gold from the depths of the minds of their own souls, who have bridged those chasms of separation from themselves and thus radiate a frequency of wholeness that awakens others. We need more women leaders who love their own bodies, who say no to distractions, who allow themselves abundance, success, pleasure, wealth, and who embody a fierce integrity. Are you ready to step into this kind of leadership? Are you ready to create a transformation in midwifery and in the community around you? Can you imagine what this world would be like with you as women leaders and you, all of you students, as women leaders of the future? And I'm not just talking about women leaders, I'm also talking about male midwives who are leaders. I'm talking about those feminine qualities of leadership. Embracing abundance, embracing inner alignment, and embracing the healing that we need to do so that we can lead. And step on any stage that we're called upon to step upon and do that with grace and dignity and confidence, education, professional excellence, and personal greatness. I'd like to present our graduates with, some of them have already received their diplomas, but Amy Eyrig is graduating tonight. She is our graduate of just Friday. She just graduated on Friday with an Associate of Science in Midwifery, Amy Therese Eyrig. when our graduates receive their associate degree or first bachelor's degree, they receive a rebozo. And with that rebozo, Amy, I'd like you to remember the education that you have received, the evidence-based education, but also remember that you are woven forever in the tapestry of MCU. And as you embrace other women with that rebozo, remember we are embracing you. Jennifer and Tiffany already have their rebozos. But Jennifer graduated with her Bachelor of Science in Midwifery, and she is receiving tonight a Pinard horn. I'm so excited. She knows about this for a while. The Pinard horn is what you receive when you get your second degree, and this is carved by one of our students' husbands, David Ramirez. And I couldn't go without gifting Tiffany something, so even though she has her rebozo and her diploma, so a little bag to remember us by. Congratulations. And Tiffany received her associate degree in midwifery. I know those stools were a killer. Thanks for bearing that. I shortened my talk by 3 pages just so I could tell how comfortable you were. So I want to tell you about this group of graduates. If I can find my little quote from them. This picture was sent in by Karen Peacock, and she says, I do not know what we would have done without each other in our sister circle. And they had a celebration, celebrating their graduation, and they had a bridge that you can kind of see in the background that they walked across, and it was very symbolic of their death as a student and their birth as a midwife. And they continue to support each other in their sister circle, and she said, I really want you to share this picture because it emanates the joy that we feel for one another in our sisterhood that was created at MCU and that remains forever with us. We would now like to present our awards this evening. We have a Student of Excellence, Faculty Member of Excellence, Staff Member of Excellence, and this year, for the first time, we have a Team of Excellence. When we chose the recipients of the award, many stakeholders, students, faculty, staff, midwife, or students, faculty, and staff voted on each of these categories, and then all of the nominations went before a committee, and we had this selection criteria that we used to determine who the final award winner was. So this wasn't a light process. And these people are very, very deserving of the awards that they are receiving this evening. Our first award, we are going to present the Student of Excellence. The nominees for the award this year, Cassandra Aho, Danielle Legrand, David Carter-Blake, Daniel Morales, Emmy Pack, Hailey Sweetalis, and Leslie Gesner. And Mariah Cranford will be presenting the Student of Excellence Award. Mariah is our clinical director. You want to take the mic? No.
I'm not that much time than Jody. So, for the Student of Excellence, we actually have 2 different programs, and so we have 2 different Students of Excellence. For our bachelor's in midwifery, and my phone just went blank with all the information. I have to tell you, I've been in this position for 7 months, and one of the first students that I had experience with was David. I'm this brand spanking new clinical director, learning all the policies, learning all the ins and outs and what requirements the students have to meet and what the exceptions are and what they aren't, and I'm learning all the ins and outs, and David contacts me, just a sweet little message, and says, you know, I'm doing my primaries, and I've got this situation. I know it might not be possible, but, and he explained what was going on, and it ended up that what he was thinking he could do, he couldn't, and I had to write back and say, you know what, That's not one of the requirements. And I was so impressed with his professionalism and the way that he responded and said, you know what, it's okay. It's okay. I'll do what I need to do. And he has been a fabulous student. So some of the things that others have said in the nominee process. David is diligent, enthusiastic, has great new ideas, and is respectful. David contributes to live sessions with stimulating questions and comments that enrich the classroom learning experience. David's assignments are consistently strong and timely. David knows how to combine theory with clinical practice, is timely in his communication, espouses the midwifery model of care as a learner, a teacher, and a practitioner. From someone else. David has engaged his educational journey with passion, a commitment to equity, and with the end goal of being a midwife in mind at all times. David is also one of the most respectful and supportive students, showing true care for not only his clients, but his teachers and his peers in the classroom and across MCU. And so once the selection committee gathered all of these nominations, this is what they had to say in choosing David. David is a pleasure to interact with and is an exemplary student. David is very respectful, strongly academically, I guess it's supposed to be strongly academic, engaged in the school, and pushes for the engagement of his peers in creative and innovative ways. David is on track to be a midwife of excellence. So we congratulate David. So we also have another program. Okay, we have midwives who are already CPMs come in to get their Bachelor's of Science in Midwifery. And our winner in that category was Leslie Gessner. So from the nominees, people that nominated Leslie, over the past 2 years, I had Leslie in 3 distinct classes, and collectively I am thoroughly impressed with her approach to education. MCU defines midwives of excellence as individuals that embody technical expertise, professional excellence, and personal greatness. When Leslie approaches her educational journey, she does so with a true desire to master learning objectives, the technical expertise, with a desire to link theory with practice as she advances midwifery professionalism in her communities, professional excellence, and with integrity and soul during times of critical self-evaluation and growth, the personal greatness. I have witnessed this approach of Leslie in each of my classes, where her work is of consistent quality, her engagement in live sessions and discussions superb, and her ability to contribute to our collective learning environment applaudable. For these reasons and more, I offer Leslie my highest recommendation as MCU's 2017 Student of Excellence. From someone else, Leslie is an example of what it means to be a learner and a teacher, and to embrace the growth of and change of midwifery with true humility and dedication to childbearing families everywhere. So in reviewing all of the nominations for Leslie, the committee said, Leslie has been a model student. Leslie's commitment to linking theory with practice is commendable and bears positively on being a preceptor in the future. Leslie's both a learner and teacher, enhances the profession in both her community and at MCU. Leslie's commitment to coming back to school after receiving her CPM to further her education and impact on families is highly commendable. Congratulations, Leslie.
Thanks, Mariah.
Our next award is our Faculty Member of Excellence. And our nominees for this year, Aisha Al-Hajar, Audra Post, Cheryl Fuhrer, Courtney Everson, Crystal Ogle, Diane Bjornson, Erin Casper-Frett, Gina Gerbeau, Jess LeBlue, Megan Coons, Melissa Smith-Torville, and Susie Delaney. Excellent faculty members. Very difficult award. As you can see, our students think almost every single faculty member, and there were some that were not necessarily on this list, but have been nominated all other years. I can't think of a faculty member who has never been nominated before. Our Faculty Member of Excellence Award goes this year to Megan Coons. Actually happy to be here. Come on, Megan. You get to sit on the stool. It's so wonderful to have a recipient here all the way from Alaska. Megan's been teaching at conference this week, and it was just so happened that she is the Faculty Member of Excellence this year. So Megan, this is what everybody said about you.
You know I'm going to cry, right?
I have Kleenex right here.
Thanks.
Megan is very welcoming to every inquiry I have. Became my favorite teacher, even though math has been my least favorite class. Also, it is very inspiring how passionate she is even about math. She puts so much love into it. Megan has been absolutely incredible in supporting me during her class. When I emailed her with struggles understanding course material, she not only replied, but she replied with a personal video. It made it so much more personal, and I could hear the compassion and support in her voice. She went out of her way to help me understand and be confident about the course material. Another student, I love her class format, the interface she has developed for her class using Canvas, and the way she does participation. Megan is personable and often answers questions with videos, which I find very charming and very human. Her example has actually aided me in overcoming a bit of my social anxiety. She expects high-quality work and gives good feedback, and sometimes we even have conversations about my work. I've never really done that with a teacher till now, my 8th semester, because she makes herself available and is very approachable. She's very easy to reach out to. She made my least favorite class the most enjoyable. Must have been another math student. Megan teaches more than math. Attending online school sometimes leaves you feeling alone in your journey, but Megan takes that away. She gets the whole class involved in live sessions and always has her webcam on. It is such a nice touch to see her while she teaches and to have the whole class participating. Helps me feel part of a team going through this material together. Megan's a tough teacher, but not in a horrible way. She wants her students to succeed, and it shows in the high expectations and standards she sets. She constantly went above and beyond for me and my fellow students to help us become the best we could be. Megan is an above and beyond teacher. In the committee selection, this is what was said. Her pedagogy is strong, especially in Canvas and online format. She's in the top 5 for pedagogical course creation. Megan serves on the admissions committee and curriculum committee and ad hoc participation committee. She's very involved in MCU. Megan's student evaluations are consistently top-notch. Megan is very personable and provides good feedback, which leads to strong dialogue with students, and you can see that from what her students said. Megan is very approachable, and her participations are great. Megan is welcoming to every inquiry and very supportive of her students. Megan gets full classroom participation and helps students grow. Have to stay back. Make sure I have the right thing for you. Megan, are you a knitter?
I have been.
Are you going to take it up again?
Sure.
When I select the gifts for the awards of excellence, I love the idea of pottery because it's that idea of being filled and filling others. But when I saw this, I just thought there's got to be somebody that wins this award this year that's a knitter. So this is yours, Megan.
Thank you very much.
And your certificate. And we do have some packing material. We'll get that back to the last if you want us to ship it.
Thank you.
Our next award is the Staff Member of Excellence. And the nominees this year, Alan Bellows, he's our IT guy, Cheryl Fuhrer, Courtney Everson, Emily Rainey, Heather Fangman, Janice Dudelska, Kaylee Ridd, I was even nominated, Christy Ridd-Young, Laura Park, Megan Coons. Megan also is a staff member as our Canvas liaison, Sonia Olmstead and Whitney Messiah. And Sarah Carter will be presenting our Staff Member of Excellence Award.
think some people saw me striding up here and thought I assumed I would have won, but in actuality, I saw who it was and said, "Oh, I want to do that one." Kaylee, will you come up? So there were a lot of things written in the nomination, and without someone to summarize them for me and print them out on a nice form, I got distracted. So I thought we could do something maybe a little different. Could everyone who Kaylee has personally helped, please stand up. And if you're online, go ahead and type something in. If you would say that Kaylee has ever saved your bacon, go ahead and raise your hand as well. This is the excellent work Kaylee does. I am so grateful for her. In my work life, she fills so many roles and just does so many things. You can sit down or you can just stay standing. This is a short introduction because I know Kaylee doesn't love being in front of people, but I'm so impressed with the work she does. I'm so grateful personally and as a member of this organization. You do so many things so that we can continue to be excellent and grow beyond ourselves. So thank you very much. And one of these pots, I'm sure.
This is a soda firing method, I think. Oh, Kimberly's not listening. But it is, when I saw this, I was so struck with the idea of refining and transformation and being fired. And Kaylee definitely helps all of us when we feel like we might be fired. She does save our bacon. Thank you. That was kind of like planning a surprise party because I kept saying, you know, you can't go past the first 5 slides because I didn't want her to see. Did you have any idea? Oh, good. She didn't sneak and look. As I said, this year we are also, for the first time, offering a Team of Excellence Award. And we don't have a list of nominees for this award because this went to one team, and we actually happen to have a representative of this team here tonight. The MCU Team Award is for the Financial Aid Department. Emily, will you come up and represent your department? You get to sit on the stool. So you can see Emily's beautiful face and also the others on in the financial aid department, Christine Hareko and Emily and her cute daughter, and Kimberly Muller and Whitney Messia. In 2013, MCU became a Title IV school, which means we are eligible to administer federal financial aid. 85 to 90% of our students use these funds to access education and become midwives. This team has worked tirelessly to comply with the mountains, I mean it's worse than the tax code, the mountains of federal regulations required to maintain Title IV eligibility. They work to educate and mentor students through this complicated process with professionalism and timely communication. Money can be a very emotional issue, right? Students can be really emotional if you feel like I'm not going to have what I need to pay tuition next semester. So students can sometimes feel a lot of stress when they are communicating about their eligibility. The financial aid department has exhibited extraordinary professionalism and has gone above and beyond their team responsibilities over the last year. And of course, when we first became a Title IV school, there were a lot of, getting used to the regulations, setting up the processes, and all of those bumps that go with a new process. And this team has listened to the students' outcry for help us understand, help us figure out how to get through this process, help us really understand SAP so that we can make sure we're eligible. They've done all they can do to educate students and streamline the process, and they're working with our IT guy to make it even more streamlined. They have provided extraordinary support to multiple stakeholders who often come with competing needs, including students, faculty, staff, administration, and all those third-party agencies that they have to answer to, like the U.S. Department of Education and the Veterans Administration. They even had, this year, 2 site visits, almost 2 weeks apart from these third parties, and handled that with a great deal of dignity and preparation, and the rest of the staff hardly even knew what was happening, and they were scurrying around getting ready for the site visits. Actually, we've had 3, if you count 3 in the last year, because the Department of Ed actually did 2 site visits, and they handled that with tremendous aplomb. Through it all, they have exhibited as a team cohesiveness and enacted a tremendous amount of effort to meet the needs of the students. These women have improved and continue to upgrade the support systems within MCU so that our students can have access to education. Thank you to our financial aid department. And you get your certificate, and we'll mail the others. That's Kaylee's certificate. Kaylee, yours? There you go. Thank you, Emily. Thank you to Emily, Whitney, Kimberly, and Christina Horenko. I think that you can see that here at MCU, we feel that we are honoring our mission, creating, supporting, building midwives of technical expertise, professional excellence, and personal greatness. And I would like to have all of you who are faculty members, if you would please stand up, those of you that are here. I think our faculty members deserve a huge round of applause. And if you're not already standing and you're a staff member, stand up also. I just want to introduce you. Kaylee Ridd is the clinical administrator and the librarian and the internal Canvas guru. And Jennifer Ravens, our marketing coordinator. Shanley Robertson, conference director and events coordinator. Sarah Carter, our well midwife program and assessment coordinator. Emily Rainey takes care of VA, student academic progress within the financial aid department. She's also our research coordinator. Mariah Cranford, our clinical director. Jody Palmer, a house mother and a new faculty member. I don't know if you can call it new, she's been doing this for years, but newly slated, a great class, outward mindset and crucial conversations all in one. And Megan Coons, our Canvas liaison. Thank you to our staff.
And Laura's.
Oh, where's Laura? Oh, back there. How could we forget Laura? And Laura, back there with cute little Jenna, our amazing registrar. Thank you all for honoring our graduates of 2016 and Amy of 2017. You'll probably get in the slides that show next year, so we can come back. And Betsy, could you favor us with another number as we're leaving and giving each other hugs? I do want to mention that Riley, my daughter, is here as a photographer, so if you would like a photograph with any of your faculty or staff or your family, especially those of you that have graduated or those of you who are students that know one another, you can grab Riley and she'll decide the best background and have a picture, and then we'll make those available to you after graduation. Thank you all for helping us celebrate.
All right. Okay. This song is it was written in honor of a Civil War veteran, but it's a message of love and dedication and willingness to sacrifice everything for something you love. And this is called Ashokan Farewell.
Thank you all. And again, if you'd like some photos, talk to Riley.